Hey y'all. Hey Visha, how you doing today? How you doing today? Hold on 1 second, you guys. How y'all doing? Hey Natasha, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? I pray that y'all listen. I pray that you call happy first day of spring too. Y'all cannot know how excited I am. Y'all, I'm so excited that it's spring. Am I the only person excited? Am I the only person excited that it is spring? Like I am doing good. I'm so excited about the springtime. Like, even though like my car is already filled with pollen, I am, listen, goodbye winter. Like, I'm ready for it. I learned a long time ago. Listen, I learned a long time ago, like in my before Christ days, you know how sometimes the summertime gets hot and people will be like, I can't wait till it's cold. Then it get cold and you be like, I can't wait for the spring. Listen, I've learned to embrace every single season, but I freely welcome the spring and the summer. Listen, freely, freely. And so I've learned, be careful what you ask for. Absolutely, like, be careful what you ask for. I pray that you guys were able to catch the first broadcast this morning. Hopefully the quality of that recording was up to par to where you guys could get the word, because it was windy, but it felt too good not to get outside and walk. I said, Lord, this is what I like. I like for it to be warm so I can get a good sweat in, not have to worry about if I'm gonna get frostbite. And so I was excited about that walk. I was out of breath. I'm like, Lord, this is what I miss. It's hard to get warm and get your heart rate up when it is cold outside. But when it's hot, it don't take long at all. I said, okay, this is what I'm used to. I burned all these calories just from a simple walk. And so, nevertheless, you guys, I'm in a very, very good mood. Like, it's amazing, like how good of a day you can have when you fully trust God. I'm going to say that again. It's amazing how good of a day you can really have when you really trust God. I'm going to say that again. It's amazing how good of a day you can have when you really trust God. God has really like been showing me that like all day today. Like, when we enter into a place where we just literally just trust him, where we just trust him and trust him fully. Like, you don't be depressed, you don't be anxious, you don't be any of those, those heavy emotions, and you don't feel the weight of whatever your circumstance is, like when you're at a state where you really trust him, you have great days all the time, no matter what it looks like. And so, I just got on here. I just had to say that because I felt like that has been the theme of what God has been showing me in this season. And it's something that feels good. And some days are, can be a little bit rockier when we're dealing with certain insecurities, certain fears. But when you really get to that place where you just trust God to be God, where you trust him to do what only he can do, like, you really find yourself embracing every single day and just enjoying life for what it is while you wait on God to show up for you. And so that's kind of been like what today has been. But I have a goal. I need to just get some food and some fabric softener so that I can finish doing laundry. And so my goal right now is about $30, and I think that that will get me every single thing that I need to cook, which will last me for a few days to get dog food and the laundry stuff. And so that is my goal right now. I'm in the car. I just literally, it's been such a day of just me just letting God flow. I'm a little bit tired from that walk. I said I've been waiting on that tired feeling after a long walk. And so that is my goal right now. I'm probably going to go head to the grocery store in a little bit. I haven't eaten anything today. My stomach is touching my back a little bit. And so that is our goal right now, 30. And so to those of you guys that are sewing, you can label the seed whatever God leads you to label it. And if in the event you're just absolutely not able, to sew, it's never any hard feelings about people not being able to sew. because I'm going to do what God tell me to do regardless, pour into people regardless. I know some leaders, they will treat people differently. They will withhold. I've seen that firsthand. People withholding prophetic words, which honestly, there's no such thing as being able to withhold something that God wants you to say. It is the most painful thing to try and not speak when God is telling you to speak. And so I've seen it firsthand in my own life. Someone saying, "Well, I'm not going to release this prophetic word until you so," or "I'm not going to release a prophetic word until you join this congregation." And it's just like, at the first sight of manipulation, at the first sight of, the word not being given to a person freely, I think that those are major red flags in ministry. Those are major, God needs me to say this. Those are major red flags. And so, even as you guys are matriculating through life, it is important to like pay attention to those minor, or not even minor, those small details. Especially when you're discerning. That's one thing that God has taught me. Pay attention. It's witchcraft. And listen, you said a mouthful, Natasha, but it's crazy that so many people will fall for that. Like so many people fall for that, because of fear. But preaching the gospel should never instill fear unless it's a fear of God. If that makes sense. It should never be manipulated in any way, shape, or form. But so many people, because they know not, they listen, they don't know any better. They don't have the wisdom in that area. They will fall subject to anything. And so I just always try to let people know that like what I do is not, I'm gonna do it whether seeds come in, whether seeds do not come in. I just cannot do that. I could never ever imagine in a million years doing that. And I know some people get on these broadcasts and they just think that, oh, it's just all about you or anything else. When I'm doing is literally living out my faith. What's up, Pastor Ron? All I'm doing is living out, my faith. And, even that principle goes paying attention to like the small red flags, and I don't believe that there are any such thing as a small red flag, because a small red flag that is ignored can turn into something that is totally like detrimental, to your future, detrimental to your destiny. I'm gonna say that again. There's no such thing as a small red flag. A red flag is a red flag. And if you let something that you perceive to be a small red flag like pass, like it turns into something, later on, futuristically wise, something that is catastrophic to like your destiny. And so, that's an entire like life principle in ministry, outside of ministry. Pay attention to the things that don't sit well with your spirit. Pay attention to like the things that, feel a little bit, manipulative. Pay attention to that. That's as simple as I can pay attention to it. And so that's just kind of, I guess that was a bit of a flow, but that's what I just felt led to say. Pay attention to it. So many people, because they don't have the knowledge or the proper teaching, or even the proper relationship, because you can't receive a teaching without proper relationship with God, first and foremost. But proper relationship with God, it helps us avoid every single pitfall, of the enemy. And we're in an hour in the world where we are getting closer to like the end times. Like we absolutely are getting closer to the end times, and we know that many will be led astray. But I say all that to say, don't let that person be you. God has given us all the necessary tools, and he's instilled whatever needs to be instilled within us, so that we will not be misled, so that we do not fall away from him. And so, that's just kind of my mindset on it. It's something that we really have to take seriously in, ministry, business, friendships, relationships, whatever the case may be. Pay attention to what doesn't sit right. Pay attention. I mean, I wish I would have learned this lesson a long time ago, because I would have avoided a lot of drama, a lot of attacks. I would have avoided a lot of unnecessary warfare in my younger years had I just chosen to see the red flags, accept the red flags. Because sometimes it's not that you don't see a red flag, it's that you just choose absolutely, like, to not pay attention to it. You choose not to let it weigh on any of your decisions. And so that's just, how I feel about, where we are when it revolves around like the end times. Just pay attention. Pay attention to what you expose, your eyes to, what you expose, what and who you expose, you know, your ears to. Pay attention, to all of those details. And so that is it. I literally just got on here though, because I do need to go to the grocery store to get a few items. Not a lot, just a few things so that I can actually cook me something to eat. And so again, my goal is $30. Some of the items that I have to get is like dry dog food because they are out. They ate the last little bit of it today. So dry dog food, stuff for laundry, and just something to cook a meal. I literally just need like protein. And so that is where my goal today. That's where the funds are going to go towards today. I ask that you just label it paid in full, or you can label it, if God gives you something else to label that seed as, you label it, whatever God leads you to. And so, as always, once I meet the goal of what I need to just get food and get those items, I will come back on and let you guys know that like we have gotten everything paid in full so that you guys don't continue to sow towards that goal. And so before I get off of here, do I have anyone that is able to sow towards that goal of just being able to get food? Um, for me as well as my dogs. And so if you're not able to sow, please don't feel a certain type of way because I'm talking about it. It's just what God has me doing. And so if you're able to sow, give me a one. If you are not able to sow, it's absolutely fine. But I'm not going to linger on this thing. I just know that God told me that I needed to come on and give that update. Again, I just need to get some food. And the goal of what would get me everything is probably around $30. And so that is it. Also, to those of you guys that need prayer for anything, those of you guys that have testimonies, you guys can send those requests and those testimonies to prayer.thoughtsbyt at gmail.com. And so